What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you, bringing you guys the merch. So as you can see, it is a beautiful sunny day here in Florida, beginning the long part of a much-needed vacation, a much-needed trip, and a getaway from just life, the ICU, just everything in general. So, of course, no proper road trip, adventure begins without a trip to Buc-ee's. And that is where we're at right now. If you're not familiar with Buc-ee's, it's just a crazy, insane Disney World version of a gas station with 4 million gas pumps, but really actually very good food, good people, like for the most part, minus the parking nowadays because the world's gone insane. But I would say before, most of the part you feel very safe when you go inside. The manner, everyone's usually very mannerful and pretty all right to be around. But now that things are getting crazy, I would say some of that's starting to leave us. But the place is basically just Disney World. Buc-ee's really seems to be taking the place by storm. We're supposed to get another two in Florida in the next couple years. But good food, good barbecue, unlimited amounts of snacks. There's merch, there's whatever. If you go to metal shows nowadays, I've noticed every time I go to a metal show, someone's always got Buc-ee's merch on. Janice Live in St. Petersburg, there's always someone in like a Buc-ee's like chipmunk like costume. So no proper trip begins without a trip to Buc-ee's. So that's where we're going right now. I'll take a couple shots inside so you guys can see it, and hang tight. Alright guys, the Buc-ee's of Daytona Beach, Florida. This place is crazy.
That's alright, I'm aware of the danger. You wanna get away, you better get in line. Won't go another day of wasting any time. I've got a lot to say, can't hold it in this time. Got no filter, I got no...
So we're back. We survived the mighty Buc-ee's experiment. It's gotten even crazier in the last couple of years. That place is just purely insane. Like I said, it's basically just Disney World, but for a gas station. Pretty clean bathrooms. If you need to go do that, pretty clean. The food's outstanding. If I could make a recommendation as far as food goes, everyone's always gonna say beaver nuggets, right? The glazed pecans, all those things. I mean, the whole place smells amazing. But I would say the things I usually get when I'm there is usually the multi... So we're back. We survived the mighty Buc-ee's experiment. Like I said, this place is just insane. It's basically Disney World, but for a gas station. Really clean bathrooms, good food, lot of things to do in there, a lot of merch. Place is absolutely insane, but the food is great. It's definitely worth the stop if you've never been to one. Like I said, I've been going to the Daytona one basically since around the time it opened. Pretty big fan of it. As far as food goes, I know for me and Reginald, this is Reginald by the way, as far as our favorites, we usually get the breakfast burrito, the one that's got like bacon and sausage and eggs in it. Outstanding. It comes with potatoes. However, I did try something new today that I haven't tried in the past. It's their brisket burrito, which has potatoes and aioli and all this other stuff. Fantastic. The brisket sandwich, you can get chopped, you get the shredded. I always get the chopped, but now they have like this triple XL thing. I didn't get it because I would have to like unhinge my snake, like my jaw like a snake just to eat the damn thing. But I haven't tried that yet, but I always get the regular one because it's really good. Like I said, everything they do with barbecue is great. Jerky is hit or miss, I'll be honest with you. I think if you get the fresh stuff, maybe it's better, but I've gotten jerky from there and it's really like tough and dried out. So I've had some that were good and I've had some that were bad. Reginald personally did not like the last jerky we tried because it was just really hard to chew on. Right, buddy? He says right. As far as their snacks goes, they have a million different kinds of like potato chips. They got their own popcorn. They got their own gummy worms. Peach rings, that's where it's at. Everything in there. So if you haven't been to Buc-ee's, you're in Florida, you're in Texas, you're in anywhere of the places that where they have it, it's worth a trip. Now we are at my favorite place of all time. Let me see if I can actually get it in. Not able to get it in the view yet, but we're going to be going there soon. But one of my favorite record stores in Florida, and that is Tiger Records. The place is a gem. It's a gold mine. If you're into hardcore punk metal, it's the place to be. So we're going to head there soon. Peace. All right, guys. So we're heading there. We are headed to Tiger Records, one of the greatest record stores in Florida. There it is, the one.
Been on my
What is up, you guys? Marty McFly coming at you. The trip has finished, and unfortunately it had to come to an end, but I had an absolute blast basically doing a road trip with my brother, best friend. You know, we've been best friends since we were little kids, and we always talk about redoing the road trips we used to do at like the end of high school or even in college we used to talk about. And this is the first time in a while him and I actually got to spend just uninterrupted volume of time. Our girlfriends were away. We actually had the full time together. I'm on vacation. I had an absolute brutal year with work and my new fellowship. I really don't have much time for anything else these days between board exams and just work and research and everything else that they just keep piling on to make my life absolutely miserable. I mean, I did it to myself. So I really that's it. I did it to myself. So I can complain because I'm exhausted all the time. But I needed this trip. This really helped me reset the batteries and just to feel human again. So if you're in the medical field, you know, whether you're a physician or, you know, you're in residency, you're in fellowship, you're in attending, you're in medical school, it's hard, man. I mean, there is no other way. One of these days I'll make a video and just talk about the journey of going through medical school and all that stuff. Because it really is. It takes a toll on the body in more than one way impossible. So when I just finished this really long, essentially it was a 24-day stretch. I had like 2 days of a break in between 2 12s, so I was pretty tired. So this trip meant a lot to me. Basically, me and my brother, we woke up. I call him my brother, he's like my best friend, but we woke up super early, got on the road, hit up Bucees, went up to Tiger Records in Jacksonville, and then we stopped over into Chamblins bookmine in Jacksonville, and then we made our way down to St. Augustine and just had an absolute blast. So Bucees, right, we did the Bucees experiment. I've been there 1,000 times, but I still love going in. It gets crazier and crazier every time I go in there. It's just an absolute insanity. Obviously the secret is out, especially for the Daytona one, but Tiger Records, always a wonderful trip. The bassist from Bane, James, really nice guy. Him and I like talked for a couple minutes again, and like it's just so cool to see him again and talk shop, whatever. And he's just so nice, like, you know, just a cool guy to hang out with. And he recognized me at this point, which is kind of nice too, because I've been there 1,000 times to go into a shop. But like, he's just a really nice guy, just a genuine human being. Great band. If you haven't heard the Bane repressed vinyl, it's incredible. Check that out. Went to Chamblins Bookmine, which is, there's 2 locations. We'll get to that soon. And then St. Augustine. So without further ado, let's talk about what you guys really came here for. Just some of the pickups that I got between my trip and a little bit of eBay, just a little bit. So, not like I have enough Chimera guitar picks, but I thought this was so freaking cool. I'm going to post the guys below where I got this from, but it's Pittsburgh Penguins. So, I love hockey. I've been watching the Cats, the Pens, the Lightning since I was a really little kid. And just to have a Chimera guitar pick with the Pittsburgh Pens on it. This is from the Infection era. And, I mean, it's just so cool. This is Matt DeVries, by the way. This is his guitar pick. So the fact that it had the Pens on it, just absolute badass. Now, I don't own a copy of this movie until now. And there's so many different versions out there. I guess I could have just spent like $2 and gotten a DVD copy. But I saw this, and it's sold out everywhere if you want to get it new. So I got it used, which I'm like, cool, sounds good. I don't need, like, whatever. The used copy is okay with me. But I love the fact that it glows in the dark. This is The Nightmare Before Christmas. Steelbook, 4K, Ultra, Blu-ray, everything. But it glows in the dark. And this, of course, is the back cover. And then, boom. Now, it comes with a bunch of extra stuff. It comes with, like, a sing-along edition, commentary. No, I just want to watch the OG. But I've seen so many good reviews about the 4K renderation. Oh, good words today, Marty. The 4K rendering of this film. And I watched a lot of reviews on it. It's absolutely incredible what they were able to do with this movie. And so that's, got that. And then a comic book hero that is very near and dear to my heart. Not exactly the main character of this one, but actually the first of a villain of a character that means a lot to me. This is The Amazing Spider-Man 162. It's a little bit chewed up. There's some marks on it. I don't really care. They said it was like a 3.5. I don't really care about grading. I just wanted to own it because of this guy right here. this guy. So the reason why this one meant so much to me, of course, you got Nightcrawler, you got Spider-Man, but this is the very first issue that contains his most famous arch nemesis, if you will. And I just think, like, especially for being able to pull this up, you know, it can be expensive online depending on the quality of the copy you want. Really, I didn't really care. I mean, I love the fact that it feels beaten up. It's a little yellowed. I kind of love it. I mean, I'm not a crazy collector or anything, but I mean, look, I mean, just the old pages and everything. But basically, this is the Punisher. You got Nightcrawler, but in this text, you essentially have the Punisher's arch nemesis, which they ended up bringing into the German version of the Punisher movie, and then season 1 of the Punisher TV show that, you know, Netflix and subsequently Disney put out, and is the first actual episode in his first appearance. So the Punisher always meant a lot to me. He's probably my favorite next to Batman. I would say my top 3. Batman being the spear points of, I don't know, superheroes, I guess you could say, anti-heroes in this case. I've always been an anti-hero guy. But Punisher is close next to Batman, and then Venom probably being, Venom and Moon Knight being very, very close to all of them, but pretty cool to actually get the first edition with the first appearance of his arch nemesis. So really glad to have that. So those are just some odds and ends. Let's get to the good stuff. I mean, that is the good stuff, but let's get to more good stuff. So I went into Tiger Records, and this is a 1977 press. It's a little chewed up. Don't really care. I wanted a copy of this, and there is some interesting thing. It says it has marks, but it's a 1977 press. It's got some writing on it. Some dude wrote his name. Some asshat wrote his name on it. Whatever. I don't really care. But this is, I mean, I'm actually very glad to have this, because this is a record by them that, like, it's got a lot of their big hits, but I think the cover alone was just something I always wanted to have a copy of, and I wanted a beat-up vintage used copy that I've been listening to this band since I was a little kid. But Led Zepp, you know, you already know. I mean, you already know. Atlantic Records. So this is a 1977 press. It's beaten up. It even says, has marks on it. I mean, I haven't tried to play it yet. Don't really care. I'm sure it's going to pop and skip and whatever. I mean, who cares? But it's got some dude named Morgan on it. He wrote his name on it, you know. Probably the record store, maybe just the original owner. But pretty cool. The record itself is like, what, 1969, but this is a 77 press. I just thought it was pretty cool. For $12, I was like, hey, it'd be pretty nice to actually own it, just to have it. I think if you wanted the OG, they have the OG on the wall, and I think they wanted like 100, 150 for it. But now this, really, really, really excited about. The first time I heard about this band was through Mikhail Stan from Dark Tranquillity. And I really didn't know too much about this band in general. And this is years and years and years ago. I heard about this band through Mikhail Stan from Dark Tranquillity and the Halo Effect and a couple of his other bands that he's doing. You know, originally in Flames before, you know, Big Homie came and entered the band. And I heard about this band, and just like the epitome of heavy, fast, aggressive thrash, and like really pushing the boundaries of what you can do with thrash. And their first record actually has 2 titles to it, if you can believe it. So originally called Illusions, but then Chemical Exposure, if you got the CD or the cassette version. But this is Sadist. This is their 2023 album, The Shadow Inside. Absolute fucking awesome. I'm sorry, YouTube, I had to say it, but just an incredible album. The very first song is like 6.5 minutes long, and I would say the first minute takes me back like in the 1980s, listening to like a Sabotage record. Just the way the acoustics of the guitar sounds, the way they like modulate, like the way the guitar shifts and stuff and everything. I mean, everything, the distortion, everything's just like, oh my god, I feel like I'm listening to like a 1980s like Sabotage record. Boom, right out the gate, and the first track is just absolute. It's perfection. It's not just madness. Like, it's not crazy without meaning to be, or it's not senseless craziness. Like, I hate when some bands do that where it doesn't make sense. No, everything they've done is so carefully chosen and well made. I would say the first track, First Blood, absolutely drew me in. And to finally have a copy of this, you can get this online, don't get me wrong. I should have bought this the year it came out in 2023. but I didn't buy it, and I wish I did. But now I got it. I got it for $25, which really isn't bad. I don't have to worry about paying for shipping, blah, blah, blah. I'm just really, really happy to have this album. If you're not familiar with Sadis, they originally came from Antioch, California. Steve DiGiorgio used to be in this band. That makes, to give you an idea of how freaking good this band is. Nuclear Blast Records, by the way, was the press for this. But absolute, just, it's probably one of my favorite thrash albums. I mean, there's so many to choose from, right? But, like, I really love their approach and how they made this sound. And, there's nothing like, there's no throwaway songs. There's no thing that you're like, all right, this is skippable because it sounds like other things. No, everything I feel like on this record was so carefully chosen. Beautiful splatter vinyl. Oh, yes, sir. Put it in me, daddy. Oh, ooh, sorry, I don't know. I don't want anyone putting it in me, daddy. But yes, beautiful, beautiful vinyl. But seriously, put it in me. Custom inner sleeve with your liner notes. Really just incredible record. So if you haven't checked this out, check out the newest from Sadis. And really, like, this set me on like a tangent. Now I want to really, really dive into I want to go on one of these tangents again, like I do with most bands. Like, usually a couple times a month, I just go on a tangent with one band. Like, whether it's Sabotage, whether it's Slipknot, Cannibal Corpse, Whitechapel, Chimera, Killswitch, Demon Hunter. I mean, I go on tangents and I don't stop until I listen to everything. And I think that's my next one's probably going to be Sadist, just because I spent so much time with them. So that's all I got for the vinyl on this trip, because I'm actually going to Sonic Temple this week. And in Columbus, Ohio, there's several great stores to go shopping at. Half Price Books is always a gold mine. Apparently, my brother sent me the details of one of the Half Price Books in Columbus, Ohio, where some dude just did a dump of thrash, death, black metal. So he's like, you need to go, just spend the time and just go. So got a rental car, we're gonna do all that. Columbus, Ohio is this really strange, like, amalgamation, almost like an anachronism of heavy metal, because there's so many clubs and dive bars where bands need to come play. They go play through Columbus. And strangely enough, their record store scene isn't great, but there's two shining beacons of hope. I mean, you have Used Kids and you have Magnolia Thunder Pussy. I'm sure YouTube's going to get mad about this one, but I would say both of those record stores are incredible. As far as heavy metal goes, I could spend thousands of dollars in these places and hours of my life in these places. And I have, Mom. Sorry. But stress makes me do weird things. And those stores, I would say, like the shining beacons of hope as far as vinyl goes. But now, Half Price Books has really, really started piling in the vinyl. I've gotten hundreds of dollars worth of CDs at the Half Price Books that are in Columbus, Ohio. But the strange thing is, now there is a chain. There's two chains. Two chains. Oh. Yeah, two chains. That didn't age well. And there's two chains that are up there in Ohio, Pennsylvania. One of them is called The Exchange. And out of all the stores that should be in Columbus, Ohio, it should be The Exchange. There's exchanges all over the rolling hills of Ohio and Pennsylvania, in small, tiny towns you would never imagine. I've been to ones in Indianapolis. I've been into Pennsylvania. I've been in Ohio. I mean, I've been to many, many exchanges, and somehow Columbus has managed to not get one. It makes no fracking sense. The other one we used to have, oh my goodness, what's it called? You have The Exchange and you have Buybacks. Now, Buybacks, I think most of the chain is pretty much gone at this point. There was two Buybacks. There was a big one in Tuttle, like this massive one where I've also spent hundreds of dollars in. And then there's one a little bit further down the road in Columbus. Both of those have since closed, unfortunately. But Buybacks was another gem of a gem in Columbus, Ohio. So I think, honestly, Columbus, Ohio needs to get an exchange, because I've been to ones in Cleveland, I've been in ones in Medina, and all these other places. There's a record store in Defiance, Ohio, which is nothing but metal. Incredible. Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. Rant over? Yeah, anyway, I'm going to Sonic Temple, so I'm going to be blowing some money there. Obviously, I'm going to be bringing in some shit back with me. And, yeah, I didn't go crazy on this trip. I could have spent $300 in Tiger Rex, but I didn't this time, because I know I got another trip coming up. So 7 inches. Tiger Records knows their clientele. They know where they're going to get their stuff from. And I would say Tiger Records, as far as hardcore, punk, and metal 7 inches goes, is fantastic. Now, this is Buried Alive, and this is the 6 Month Face off of Victory Records. Fantastic. I had to go play it on Bandcamp because I really didn't know what this EP was going to sound like. 3 tracks, but Buried Alive, just I know I've heard them before, but I didn't know what this EP was going to sound like. Got it for $5. It actually has a beautiful sleeve and color art and everything. Like, they did a really good job with this. But Victory Records, think Throwdown, think Terror, hardcore with like really, really gruff vocals. Outstanding. Really, really glad to bring that home. Now, I did go a little bit crazy. Now, Tiger Records has always been fantastic for their CD selections. They pull in used CDs all the time with hardcore, punk, metal, and all that stuff. And this was no exception to the rule. 2002, we have Bleeding Through, Portrait of the Goddess. And this is super, super early Bleeding Through. This is off of Indecision Records, so before they are even signed later on. If we're thinking about like Trust Kill era bands, I mean, this is still really rough sounding. Like, I mean, this is very early stage for this band, but they still have some really good moments on here that are like very unique to Bleeding Through. By the way, Bleeding Through just came, their most recent ambitious record has Brian Fair from Shadows Fall from it, and it is absolute dynamo. Just a 12 out of 10 track with Brian Fair from Shadows Fall. So you haven't played that yet, definitely play it. This, I've been looking for more and more from this band because I think I only own like 1 or 2 albums from this band, but this is Cave In. And yeah, Perfect Pitch Black. I'm sorry, I know I forgot the name of it, but Cave In, if you know, you know. Think of like early metalcore, like the reasons why we have metalcore today. Think of like that early shit, man. You're thinking Converge, you're thinking Poison the Well. Cave In does not disappoint. Heavy, brutal, chaos, like wow. And that's this band, and they really are pioneers in the metalcore scene. The reason why we have bands like this today. But Perfect Pitch Black, this is off of Hydra. I had to look up the record label because even I didn't know. Hydra Head Records for Perfect Pitch Black. Cave In. If you know, you know. Now this I did not know much about. I knew the band's name because I know other bands have written similar names to that. And this is like classic Trust Kill era post-hardcore metalcore type music. And I mean, I didn't even know the record label. I mean, I was like looking at like, this has to be good. And this is off of Redefined Records, but I mean, wow, who are these guys? This is In Dying Days, To Forget Yesterday. Did not know this record existed. I know of the band, but I did not know this album. And this, to me, is like everything from that classic Trust Kill era. I mean, you got a little bit of like the Cave In, Converge. You got early Evergreen Terrace, a little bit of Poison the Well. You got stuff like Remembering Never. And then you got like the melodic side too. And I mean, there's just so many bands that you can hear that maybe even branched off of what these guys were doing. So, In Dying Days, great pickup. What else we got, folks? What else we got? Now, there is a fantastic comic book store, which I'm going to post in part of this video, so you'll have seen it. Black Cat Comics, open right next to Tiger Records, next to Bold Bean Coffee. Fantastic comic book store. If you're into comics, check those guys out. Reasonably priced. They're not going to, like, jip you. No, these guys did a very, very good job. They have a lot of vintage stuff. My buddy went crazy on the VHS section, and I mean, he went nuts. My brother Mike, he went crazy. Now, this band, my brother got me into as a kid, and I think I might have been early high school, and I'm playing like Demon Hunter and like Kill Switch, Chimera, Shadows Fall, and my brother's like, I literally grew up with these guys. And I was like, who is this? Like, he's like, it's a Christian band from Pennsylvania. I know you've never heard anything like this, and he was absolutely right. This is like, I don't even know what you want to call it. This is thrash, but like experimental thrash, like prog thrash. You know, they do so many different ideas, and as soon as I said Christian experimental thrash, you probably knew what I was talking about, but this is Sanity Obscure by Believer. Absolute, fantastic, every band you could possibly think of that like has probably borrowed something from this band, even though there's a smaller band, very independent, but big time Christian thrash. So many ideas. There's a track on here called DSRI, and they bring in this like soprano, almost like Sopranino type opera singer to do the backing vocals. Just absolutely incredible. Like prog thrash is probably the best way I can explain it, without being overly prog, not being like Dream Theater, like musical masturbation stuff. No, these guys are absolutely incredible if you haven't checked them out before. So, Sanity Obscure Believer, I'm really glad to have this on cassette. My brother got me the CD when I was a little kid. I did not know what to expect, and all of a sudden I hear this. I was like, holy shit. I mean, these guys really changed how I listen to music. So I was really happy to have a cassette of this for $5. Shoot, an OG press. Yeah. Now this band, comes with a sad note, but I have the vinyl, I have the CD, and I saw the cassette, and I'm like, dude, $5? This is coming home with Daddy. Into the Mirror Black by Sanctuary. Rest in peace, Warrell Dane. We miss you dearly. This is another band that has probably influenced so many bands going forward into the thrash, heavy metal, power metal, whatever you want to call it. Influenced so many bands today. And we really miss you, Warrell Dane, but I'm really glad to have this on cassette. Now I have the CD, I have the OG vinyl, and I got a really, really old cassette of this band. So Tiger Records, man, they just come out like bandits, and they get so much good stuff. I could have spent another couple $100 in there and just gone absolutely crazy. So that is my trip. I had an absolute blast with one of my best friends. A big vinyl trip, a big music trip. I got other stuff too. I got books. I got a couple of books on Ireland. I got an old Stephen King, an old Dean Koontz band book I really wanted. And, I mean, wow. Just had an absolute blast. And you know these moments, like, as you become more of an adult, we don't get to do these as much as we want, whether it's family or it's work. In my case, I did it to myself. I chose to go just a little bit further with my career, and I'm kind of paying the price for it. I'm in, fellows, you just work all the time, and so this trip really meant a lot to me, and I feel like there's so many good things that have come out of it that made me feel better. And I hope, like, if you guys are feeling these same way I'm feeling, whether it's just work, it's your family, it's your obligations, that you can sneak away with one of your best friends for even just a day, go on a big road trip, and do whatever makes you happy. Because this, like, was so rejuvenating. Just, we piled in the car, we got Whataburger, we went to St. Augustine, we went to Jacksonville, we did all these things that we wanted to do. We went to Chamblins Bookmine, which if you haven't been before in Jacksonville, there's two locations. We went to Uptown because the Bookmine was closed. But the Uptown is 2 floors and it goes on for a mile. It just keeps going. Unlimited amounts of books. And that's the small one. The guy, when I went to him, I'm like, I want to go to the Bookmine, but it's closed. He's like, that's about 5 times the size of this one. You really need the whole day to go in and experience it. So, of course, they had the book I wanted at the actual Bookmine. So I need to make another trip. But I just love the nostalgia of like how this made me feel, like just hopping in the car, grabbing snacks, going to Buc-ee's, getting the food ready, the Gatorade, the soda, the coffee, and just going on this trip and just thinking about our trip and playing music. And just, I hope that if you guys are in a position in the future and you get a day with your best friend, you guys can do that too, because I know it did a lot for me. Anyway, that's it from the Headbangers Ballroom. This is Marty McFly. Go Panthers, and peace.